welcome back to Mommy and Me. Today we're so excited because we're welcoming one of our favorite moms, Angel. Yay! Are you excited? Are you ready to just be here with us full time all the time, talking about babies nonstop?
I mean, I feel like my life is babies nonstop, so I can talk about it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah. I loved the episode that you two did, and I was like, yes, we need more twins, more talking about everything that you do because you are so amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet. I so enjoyed it. I loved watching it. I was telling Colette, I was like, you're a great interviewer.
She is, yeah.
You are.
It was such a fun
easy when you
episode.
get to talk about you and your twins.
Oh, well, thank you. I was just like, these are good questions. No, they really were. I enjoyed it. So I'm glad to be back.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
for
is
having
going to
me.
be fun. I'm excited.
Me too.
All right, you guys, are you ready for Twitter questions?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Our first Twitter question is from Emmy_NGA. And they ask, when is the best time to start having children? Should money or age be a deciding factor? Love you all. We love you too. What do you guys think about that?
Well, we all started having kids at very different ages.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on when you want to have kids and when you feel comfortable with having kids. Because you were young. How old were you?
I was like 21 when I got pregnant, I think.
And I was like 28. So I think, yes, I feel like money can play a factor. I mean, because it can be a lot less stressful sometimes when you have the means to get everything you need for your child. What was the other age? Does age?
Age, yes.
And I also think age can play a factor. I mean, out here in California, a lot of people wait until they're in their mid-30s, sometimes 40s to have kids, which can make it a little more difficult. So I think that's something that you have to be aware of. If you wait a longer time, that it might not be as easy as it would be if you were in your 20s. But it's such a personal decision. It's hard to say,
Yeah.
you have to do it now.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, there's
You don't
another
get to
plan
decide,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just get pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you. Like, it is less stressful. I think of my experience having Braylee and my experience having Winston. And it's been easier because we're more settled and Casey and I are used to each other because we got pregnant 4 months after we were married. So we were just getting used to, like, living together and, you know, forming our own family, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, then we had Braylee, which was such a blessing. Like, I know that I was supposed to have her. I'm so glad that I had her when I did. But it was more stressful because we were getting used to each other. We were getting used to things. I was trying to be a grown-up and I didn't know how.
Yeah.
So I think that those things kind of factor in. But
It's funny because when I think about it, I feel like I would give different advice than I actually did, but I wouldn't change what I did.
Right.
Shay and I didn't base our decision on, like, well, how are we going to pay for this? Or, like, how, like, maybe we should spend some time together. We were just like, we're married and we love each other. Let's start our family. That sounds exciting. Let's do it. And, like, we really didn't put all the blocks together before we did it, but at the same time I would not go back and change it. Like, yes, it was hard and we struggled financially and you know, maybe we did a few things wrong, but I wouldn't change it. I think we based our decision more on, like, how we felt emotionally. And I definitely would say don't ever jump into having kids when you're not in a totally stable relationship yourself.
yes, I think a lot of people think, like, babies will save a marriage sometimes.
And
I don't think so.
No.
Babies won't fix it, only make it harder.
Amplify, magnify, all of those things.
Yeah. Because it also, I think, magnifies the love that you have in your family when you have a baby.
Yes.
So, but it can also magnify the hard things that are going on.
Yeah.
Our next Twitter question is from Andy of YouTube. What advice do you have for the first-time parent/grandparent relationship? What type of boundaries, if any, do you set?
Ooh.
I feel like we've never really had to draw those lines because both of my parents have been very respectful. But yeah, I think that's a thing that you should definitely, if you feel like your wishes are not being met by the grandparent, I think you should always address them. Like, you know what, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I really want to keep these rules within the boundaries that I've set or whatever. I think that's a good thing. Luckily, I feel like there's been respect and both of our parents have kind of backed off and been like, okay, well, ask your parents. Like, they kind of put us first, which is good.
That's nice. I know with Marcus's parents, I got to see them as grandparents because his older brother had kids.
yeah.
And his mother has free reign with her 2 oldest grandkids. They call her mama. Like, she used to keep them, I want to say, more than either of their actual parents, her son or the mom. And while I think that relationship that she has with those grandkids is just absolutely beautiful, that wasn't the relationship that I wanted with mine.
Right.
But she's always been very respectful to my decisions as a mother and my decisions as a
Right.
parent. I think it was just set up differently with her eldest son than it was with her youngest son, who was Marcus. So, and the same thing with my mom. I think it took more for me and my mother to establish boundaries than it did for me and my mother-in-law, and just getting
Right.
her to understand, because she became a different person when I became a mother for the first time. I was like, who is this woman? She's letting my son get away with anything. And I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
no. I was like,
Yeah,
you're going
yeah,
to turn
yeah.
him into a monster. I was like, you have to tell him no to stuff, like, because you're going to end up getting him in trouble with me because he thinks it's okay because you're letting him get away with it. So
Right.
I think with her, and she's not a first-time grandparent, but because it was my first time being a parent with Marcus, and I'm her baby, I don't know. I think she just lost her mind there for a little bit. So we're working on it still.
I think I would be like,
That's
sure,
funny.
Marcus, you can do it.
I was like, you're going to get him. He is going to be on punishment. It is going to be your fault because he is confused on what the rules are now. So
Right.
My
Yeah.
mom has done that a little bit too. I watch her let my kids get away with things, and I'm like, you would have beat my butt if I would
yes,
have.
exactly.
And it's okay that they're doing that. But I think like you said, I haven't ever had to set boundaries. I think also it's been different, of course, with Braylee than with Winston, because when I first had Braylee, I was so nervous about things. And my mom isn't a nervous parent, but she always wanted me to be aware of what could happen. And I feel like Casey's parents are much more relaxed. Like, they're going to be fine. Like, I remember I was so worried about having Braylee in the wind this one day because my mom had told me, you can't take your baby outside in the wind or they'll get colic. And so I was so paranoid. And Casey's parents were like, it's okay if she comes out. It's just a little windy. And I didn't know what to do. And I remember I just sat in the car and I was just like, I don't know what to do. They're telling me this one thing and my mom's told me this and I don't know. And, now I'm like, I've figured it out by now. And I make those decisions just for myself. But at the time I was just so torn. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to listen to. So
Yeah, one thing I appreciate about Laurie is she's a really fun grandma, but she also will be like, you don't talk to your mom that way.
Yeah.
She will step in for me when she feels like she needs to, and I appreciate that.
that's great.
I don't care if they help in the discipline sometimes, because I think that the kids can respect their grandma sometimes more than me. So I do appreciate it.
yeah.
I feel like in some cases you have to be, very black and white about what you want boundary-wise with new grandparents, but in some cases you all kind of fill each other out as you move along, because you don't know who you're going to be as a parent if you're a first-time parent, and you don't know what they'll be like as grandparents towards your children. So, I mean, in some cases, you just have to be like, I really don't like that, but in other cases you kind of figure out like, okay, yeah, this works perfectly, like you said.
Yeah.
I like that you defend me. Keep that. Or in other cases, like, I don't need your advice. Do you mind just backing up? So I think it's, just be willing to speak up when necessary, but also know that some things are just going to work their ways out, work their way out perfectly. Yeah.
Right.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. Communication, always.
Yes.
Okay, our last question is from Emily Wellstead. How early do you start little ones on baby food? And Angel, when do you plan to put the twins on baby food? Love you, girls. Oh. You were just talking about this.
Yes, because I am so excited to start them on baby food.
They're ready.
I know, they're so interested in food.
I just watching them. You were holding your plate, and they're like,
Yes, like, give it,
give me that.
I went to a seminar when little Marcus was already like 2 or 3 years old. But one of the things that we talked about, there was a woman who was there that specializes in feeding babies and toddlers, so that they don't develop, I guess, like anxiety towards eating, or, weird habits that might be associated with OCD or anything like that. But one of the things she said is once your child starts to show interest in what you're eating, it's okay to start introducing them to that because you want them to keep that interest. Because what happens is, you know, they get to an age when they see something and they're just like,
ew.
Yeah.
but they're now at an age where they don't judge the stuff that's on my plate. They're just like, that looks like something that should be in my mouth. So I think I was going to wait until 6 months and just keep them exclusively breast milk until then. But I think when they turn 5 months, we'll start with some pureed vegetables. And I plan on making it myself. I have the little contraption that steams the vegetables, and you flip the switch and then blends it right there. I'm so excited.
Oh, I want one of
You
those.
are amazing.
Oh, no. I mean, let's see. It might be horrible. It might stink up my house. I'm sure their poop is going to be just
I bet it'll
good.
be way better than baby food, like canned baby food.
That's what I'm hoping. Little Marcus was all canned. He got the short end of the stick, bless his heart. But
I
I'm
never
really
pureed
excited.
my vegetables. I should have.
Oh, well, you have. I mean, you had a lot on your plate as well. But this time, I'm excited about making their baby food and seeing them try. I think it's so fun when they start learning how to eat out of a spoon.
It's so satisfying.
And they just love it. They get into it. They finally get to be messy eaters.
Yes.
Oh,
They're so cute.
oh Lord, I cannot wait. So 5 months is going to be the mark for me, but I know pediatricians sometimes recommend 6. I know our pediatrician said 4 months if they were on formula, but since they're not, I said I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah.
That's such good advice. I feel like with Winston, I was so scared to introduce food to him, and I don't feel like he's a good eater now because of that. So that is such good advice when they're interested to let them try it.
Yeah, because little Marcus, he's not the best eater. Like he's getting better with eating. We had to try, you know, just having conversations at the dinner table, which kind of got his mind off the food, so he would just randomly eat anything that was on his plate. But I feel like we got stuck with that problem where he only ate certain things because I waited so long to introduce foods to him.
I think that can happen too because I feel like I introduced food to the kids, but then when they didn't like it, I was like, oh, they don't like that, so you don't give it to them again. But I've heard that you have to introduce it multiple times, even if they initially were like, oh, that's kind of weird, because the more they are introduced to it, they'll eventually try it again. Yeah. And they'll learn to like it. But yeah, so I feel like I got stuck in that too. Like Gavin would only eat certain things because I would just like, oh, he doesn't like it, take it away. Oh, he doesn't like that. And just kind of like cater to them instead of like, let's explore. Now he eats everything. But in the beginning it was like quesadillas, and that was it.
There's stuff that I just started eating as an adult that I think I remember not liking as a child, and I don't want that for my kids. I want them to have a very refined palate where they'll try a lot of stuff because I feel like I have the palate of a baby. Like I'm like, that doesn't look right. I don't want it. So I'm trying to get myself out of that. So I don't want to set my twins up to be the same way. I want them to be able to like try stuff and be able to taste the different flavors and things, and not just be like, is it sugary or salty? I feel like those are the only 2 flavors. And maybe a little bit of garlic. But I want them to have like a palate that really can taste all the different flavors and foods.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear how the steaming and the pureeing of
So am I. Hopefully it goes great. If not, I'll be right in the grocery store just getting cans of stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to start making their baby food. I think it'll be a fun little journey.
All right, you guys, well, that is it for today. Thank you so much for sending us your questions to Instagram and Twitter. We love answering them, and be sure to subscribe to The Mom's View where you can find more of our answers to your questions. As always, we love hearing from you, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.